for 2 years. When he was nominated, and I'm a little embarrassed to say this, but when he was nominated for this award and to be inducted in the Athletic Hall of Fame, I didn't realize all of his accomplishments. And as I read them, it's an impressive list. He is Cardinal Newman class of 1973. He is one of the only student athletes in Cardinal Newman history to be offered athletic scholarships in college in more than one sport. He was an all-region selection in two of those three. He played 3 sports. 2 of those 3 sports, he signed a basketball and baseball scholarship. But his real legacy is in coaching. And when I read this to you, you're going to understand when the old days of coaching multiple sports, some days I can't even get my coaches to coach 1, much less 5 and 6 that a lot of people did. His career began in 1978 as an assistant girls basketball coach to his father, Coach Watson. He earned a girls basketball runner-up state title in 1982. He was the varsity boys basketball coach, compiled a record of 94 and 45, won 2 state championships in 88 and 95, a state runner-up title in 1987, and was named State Coach of the Year in 1988 and 1995. He coached varsity baseball, compiled a record of 119, 72 and 1, and won 2 state championships in 1991 and 93. He also had the State Player of the Year and was a state runner-up in 1988. He was named the State Baseball Coach of the Year in 87, 88, and 91. He also coaches volleyball. He has compiled a record of 421 and 208. He is currently our volleyball coach, and they are having a great year. Congratulations to you guys back there. Total record of 421 and 208, including 2 state championships, hopefully a third, but his 2 were in 1996 and 1997 with Janet. He had the State Player of the Year and runner-up state titles in 86, 87, 90, 93, 94, and 99. He was named State Coach of the Year 4 times in volleyball in 85, 96, 97, and 2003. In 4 sports as the head coach, he has amassed a total of 667 victories, the most by any coach in the history of Ursuline High, Catholic High, or Cardinal Newman High School combined. He has also been named Coach of the Year 12 times in the South Carolina High School League, Palmetto Athletic Conference, and the South Carolina Independent Athletic Association. It is my pleasure to induct a friend into the inaugural Cardinal Newman Athletic Hall of Fame, Coach Bob Watson.
Yeah, I agree with what Jeff said. He ignored to tell you how many losses you accumulate over about 50 years or whatever. Fred, I'll have to tell you this, though. When you walked up here, my daughter leaned over to me and said, "Wow, he's older than you are." Sorry. Well, both of you guys still have hair. And Janet, and I will tell my girls right now, Emily, Kendall, I will be more than happy to shave this off again if we can win it again this year. I can promise you. It's about time anyway. Need to thank everyone first. Ms. Kasprowski again. I've been through more principals and athletic directors than I'd like to think about, including myself through the years. And she's one of the best, right there with Mr. Barrell, of course. Sorry, puberty. And many athletic directors, and I love the direction that our athletic director is taking this program right now. This is such a thrill right now to see, and I was hoping our football coach would be here to understand how big it is to see what this football team is doing right now, and to have my son out there on the field and named after my father. It's just something it's hard to put words into. Thank you to Terry Hoderly and Geraldine and everyone else that put this together. This is a great thing. You know, to be up here and be honored with people that have been friends of mine. I mean, I grew up, and Fred said it, Hank Martin was a basketball god to me. And I was a little kid. Sorry, Hank. And, you know, I used to try to come. I would say we came here to watch, but of course we didn't have a gym here. But we used to go watch them play, and he was the quickest thing I've ever seen in my life. And when we started playing, we used to do an alumni game that was a lot of fun. And I was playing on the varsity team, and we got Hank to come back. And I was like, oh, I want him. This was what I've been waiting for all my life, and he just went right by me like I was standing still. And it took like 3 of us to try to stop him, and we still couldn't do it. Growing up with Fred Melson, you know, we grew up playing basketball in our backyard. I mean, I think that's where we learned how to play. And Fred was this dorky big guy way back when, and he became one of the most dominant players in the state. And Janet, to enjoy and see what Janet did, she dominated. And I'm trying to tell our girls right now, you need to be as mean as what Janet was. Because she would put it in her face and growl at them. I mean, she just loved it. One of my biggest thrills ever in coaching, I have to tell you, was with Ken. And when I got the phone call from his wife that he had been brought up to Chicago, played in Toronto, and got the phone call. And of course, we didn't have, you know, MLB every night on every station, so I had to go on my computer and follow it, and I was waiting for him to get in the game. As I understand, his wife couldn't even get into the stadium as she was running around outside. They didn't have a pass for her because he had to fly up to Toronto, and he got into that game. I still have the printout of the very first out that he made. I could tell you who he struck out and everything, but, you know, doesn't mean anything to me. But I just sat there with goosebumps, and it was one of the most thrilling things I've ever experienced, was to have him get brought up to the major leagues. Wanted a little quick shout out to the old classmates back there. Class of 73. Tommy, Pat, Nancy, who I had a crush on in grade school. She didn't know that. You know, all you guys, Pat was my best friends growing up. Tommy went to school with me in college, played baseball with me for a year. Those are stories you don't want to know. I will say, and sorry, Geraldine, I'm going over 2 minutes. Tough. But I actually did start way back. My father started, people don't know, the very first sports team at St. Joseph's. He had the basketball team. Fred took over for him, and then I moved in and took over and helped with Fred and then coached then. Back in the late 70s. And then my father and I did the girls' basketball team, and then I took over for him. And I hate that Patrick Greenwood is not here. One of the nicest humans you're ever going to meet. And you know, just to have the opportunity to coach with him. And he was almost too nice, in fact, if there is possibly a fault there. But just to have the opportunity to coach with him, I wanted to thank him for the chance that I got. And, of course, when Mr. Barrow first gave me the opportunity to coach these teams here. And then, you know, there's so many coaches that I've made friends with over the year. There's so many former players that I like to call friends still over the years. And believe it or not, even referees and officials that I still will call friends. I've been kicked out one time in all these sports, and I'm still angry at her for doing that. And it was in volleyball, just 2 years ago, in fact. I've been so blessed to be able to coach my children. It's something that, you know, it's just an amazing thing to see them enjoy. And we don't even fight about it usually. But to enjoy to see them grow up, and I'm coaching one right now, my feisty little 8th grader. And then to have my wife take second fiddle to me, who was an outstanding coach in her own right, and now she's, you know, had to take a back seat to me to kind of be my assistant, if you want to call it that. So I just want to thank you, and to see my whole family here. We're tables all over the place. There's bunches of us, and it means so much to me that y'all are here to enjoy this with me, and so thank you very much.